How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And before we even start this video, I want to thank you guys for 40k. We hit 25k 2 weeks ago and now we're at 40k. Absolutely insane these past few weeks. So to all you new people, thank you for finding the channel and hitting the red subscribe button. And to all you OGs, thank you for sticking with me. So today's topic at hand, we got GLAZ, and we're going to focus on how we can rework GLAZ, because GLAZ, honestly, if I were to pick a worse operator in the game, it could be GLAZ. GLAZ and Warden, it's a close toss up there. Now, I usually don't just call it operator straight up bad, but there is no time or place where GLAZ is actually really good. He has no gadget anymore now that Callie has a sniper rifle, so all his gadget is a thermal scope, and aside from that, his ADS time is slow. He doesn't always have the thermal. It actually takes a few seconds to even become a thermal sight, and I think he needs a complete overhaul of his actual gadget. And we're gonna get into some few suggestions here, and a lot of them came from you guys. That's why I like posting these community things, because there were some things here that I would have never even thought of, and we got a lot of comments. As I'm reading it right now, there's 165 comments and 468 likes. So to all you who did comment, thank you. You're probably going to be surprised because a lot of you guys did say the same thing. So I obviously can't show 165 comments, but I'm going to pick out the top ones, either the ones that you guys liked a lot or the ones that I liked a lot. I'm not going to include the ones that I saw a gazillion times. I'm just going to tell you the ones I did see, and a lot of them were like reduce his ADS time, give him another smoke grenade, reduce his recoil, give him an angled grip. So those aren't bad, and I actually do agree those could give him a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a buff, but he needs a actual new gadget, and a lot of these suggestions, or the ones that I brought up, are a new gadget. So besides from like the memes, which honestly I kind of enjoy those ones the most because people just come up with some crazy stuff, the number one voted one, as in like rating, it was by Death Reaper, and he said buff his DMR. The operator whose entire identity is focused around his primary DMR should not have the weakest DMR in the game. It has worse recoil and half the ammo capacity of all the other DMRs, excluding Mavericks. It should have less recoil, more ammo, and more damage. Maybe give him a Lance Light gadget on his OTS that deploys a Capiteo smoke, allowing him to actually bring frag grenades and or a mini hard breach potentially. So this one's pretty complex, and I can see why this is the number one rated one. He has a full plan set out, and I love that. And a lot of people have the same first plan: buff the DMR. That's an obvious one. His DMR is awful. If you haven't noticed in my clips, it's impossible to even get kills with this thing. The main problem is the thermal sight. It's hard to hit headshots with that, and whenever you do hit a body shot, it will not kill him ever. So the damage needs to be buffed up regardless of what they do. He should be buffed up. The DMR should be buffed up. As he said, if an operator's whole entire identity is based off of the sniper rifle, he was the first sniper, even though it's not a sniper, it's actually a DMR, but his whole identity was based off of that thermal sight type sniper type of thing. But instead, he has this DMR that sometimes is even weaker than a standard assault rifle. Now, as for this second part, this is something I like because it can actually become a gadget. So as we know, he has the thermal sight, so having a smoke launcher makes totally perfect sense, and that would be great if it also allowed him to bring something else instead of just smoke grenades. So now he can have the smoke launcher, which he'll always have because that is a very vital part of his operator in general, and he'll also get something else. Well, now what that should be, I don't know. Maybe a hard breach gadget that could possibly help him out, maybe a claymore. Regardless of what it is, he has more utility now if they added this launcher and actually give him a formal gadget. His gadget shouldn't just be a thermal sight. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, he's the only operator that his gadget is a weapon. Now, moving on from this one, we have another one from Philip Smith, and this was my initial idea whenever I was thinking of like reworking GLAZ. I was just saying maybe just add him an SMG secondary, and that's his number one thing. So his number one was give him an SMG secondary. Number two, give him the most powerful DMR, or even a bolt action rifle, because it is literally what he is supposed to be about, which is true. And then a smoke launcher of some sort. In case you didn't notice, give him the Callie's loadout, but Capiteos instead of Thatcher under the barrel, and keep the snazzy flip sight. Now, depending on what they do to his primary weapon, if they give him a better DMR, I say they give him like an SMG 11. Give him the best secondary possible. Now, if they take like the Callie approach and give him a actual bolt action rifle, that would be cool if they added a new bolt action rifle and not just give the same one that Callie has. That would be awesome. Have two snipers potentially on the opposing team, but that right there would make him somewhat playable, and then giving him a gadget, a formal gadget. So in this case scenario, a smoke launcher would do, and then he has the thermal sight on a actual sniper, which honestly, that is one of my favorite ideas, right? Because first, we're getting a formal gadget, we're getting a actual bolt action rifle with a thermal sight. If they gave him bolt action, they're going to still have to have that thermal delay, because otherwise it will be as overpowered as it once was back in its heyday. GLAZ at one point, for just like a month, he was absolutely the most powerful operator in the game, but back then he did not have the thermal delay. Yeah, but that one seems to be one of the most reasonable things here, is everyone seems to have the same agreement that he should have a launcher of some sort sort with a smoke grenade. Now this next one is a little bit more out there, and this is by a budgie, I think. Anyways, he said he has a thermal scope by default, and his active gadget is a Nomad style trap launcher. It fires mines that explode into tear gas when triggered. The tear gas obscures sight lines and gives the enemy a sort of concussion effect when they pass through it. The mines are stealthier than the Nomad's air jabs. Along with that, his smoke should be replaced with the secondary hard breach, since his new gadget allows him to use smokes essentially. Then he should get a bearing 9 and whatever. It's about the secondary weapon. So as you can see, this one is the most wild out of all of them because it actually reworks his whole concept. It still has the concept of a launcher of a smoke grenade of some sort, but he does make it a little bit overpowered by saying it's like a Nomad air jab. You set it off, it's toxic gas, it gives him a concussion effect. That's a little overboard in my opinion, but it still falls under the same baseline that we've been talking about a lot here, and that is a smoke type launcher. And this one instead is a tear gas. Now with that being said, I don't think it should do any sort of concussion effect because that right there would be a little overpowered. It would be like an Ella flying smoke grenade. But there is two ways to go about this. You can make it like smoke, you know, on defense. You can make it kind of work like that and actually do a tick rate damage. But the problem I do see with that is if he still has the thermal sight and still has the DMR and whatnot, he's going to be able to tear gas off the bomb or the diffuser. And just imagine him with gridlock post plant. There's no way you're ever going to be able to defuse that. Now that doesn't happen very often where you're going to have a gridlock and a GLAZ, but it still could happen and it would be super powerful for post plant. And then of course we talk about the new secondary SMG. This one was talked about so much, but I like the SMG 11 as one. That is probably would be my favorite one to be going here, but I also would like if they maybe added a new type of SMG or give him SMG 12. There's so many different little SMGs, the bearing 9, or just give him a straight up machine pistol like how Cali has. But overall, I would like something to actually be unique to GLAZ. He's always been a unique operator in the game. He was the first operator with a sniper type kind of weapon. He's the first operator with that kind of sight, with that kind of zoom magnification. And of course, the first operator with a thermal sight. So hopefully something stays and something stays rare to him. I think a single bolt action that is unique to him and only stays with him with a thermal sight would be awesome. If that were the case though, we would have to give him a little bit of a weaker of a secondary, but a pistol is just not going to do it. You got to give him something like a machine pistol at least. In an ideal world, I would really like it. I would really like it if they completely added a gadget to him, an actual useful gadget. And the smoke launcher, that's the #1 thing on my list. That's my favorite thing out of all of these suggestions is that smoke launcher. But I would be pretty ignorant if I didn't just say the quick fix. The quick fix, of course, is make him kind of like Ying, you know, give him a third smoke grenade, buff the DMR, and give him a machine pistol like the C75. That would be a quick fix. I would like to at least see that temporarily. That would at least make him a little bit playable because genuinely right now, I don't like to say this about any operators, but he is a bad operator that is useless, has no useful gadget, and generally is just not good. So hopefully we see some of these buffs. I know there were so many comments, 165. I couldn't possibly go through every single one, so I stuck at the ones with the likes, but let me know if you guys want to see another operator in the future. We have one previously that we did about Fuse, so if you want to see that one, go ahead and check that out. It was just basically the same exact format where I went over the community feedback, because at the end of the day, the whole community as one is way stronger than just my individual mind. So thank you guys for participating in it and actually enjoying it. 165 comments, 500 likes, big numbers there. That's probably the best that any community post has ever done on the channel. So with that guys, I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you have a fantastic day, and if you aren't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.